I am missing my hosts. So stay tuned. We'll see if they show up soon. Sorry. Yay. Or something. Maybe.
It isn't a live show until there's insanity. And I apologize. If you are out there and have been waiting, let us know in the comments. Let us know if you're here. We really want to hear from you. And so sorry about this. I go through. I'm up to 4 days of dialysis, and now I'm just always exhausted, and I didn't wake up. So I'm awake now and we're ready to go. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to Castles, Caves, and Clones presents Loki, the show in which we do a deep dive into the Marvel show. Today, we're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2. And if you haven't seen the episode yet, come back later because we're going to be talking spoilers. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post. It really does help us out. I'm Loren, and I'm here with my cousin and co-pilot, Rich.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Well, just a little hurried, but not too bad. I watched both the episodes of Loki again today, so that I could be better prepared, which was good because I don't know what episode 2 I was watching before, but it was completely different the second time. It was the first time around.
Interesting.
I missed like little things here and there, and so I'm like, what the heck? Why did I miss this? Why did I miss this? So, anyway, it's good I did it. So, yay.
Right on.
I'm so mad, though, because apparently Loki is meeting as TV show Loki.
Yeah,
Loki.
I saw pictures of that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, man, I would have loved to have gotten those photos. So.
Though I don't know he would have been there when you were there.
No, I don't think he was there.
Right.
Like they started switching things up, and they actually one day they had him in his kind of prison guard outfit, but then they had him in episode 2 outfit the other day. Right. So it's very interesting.
Rock on.
Like the little jacket that they give him and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Maybe I'll see him tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I hope you guys get a Web Slingers boarding pass.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is there's no more line to get into Avengers Campus.
There isn't?
It's just free to go in because of the restrictions have been lifted.
Oh, okay. So so you can just get in?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not too crowded because it is like a sliver of a land.
Yeah, because it's the old Bugs Land.
Old Bugs Land.
Yeah.
But it's actually deceptively large at the same time.
Well, I mean, like Bugs Land had a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's more open. So you take away all the grass and the clovers and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But the entrance is huge. Like when you go in, it's and then it kind of becomes a sliver, and then it opens up again.
Right.
So. Oh, good. I'm glad you're going to get to see it, and I'm super excited.
Should be fun times.
Oh, there's a guest here. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce your name, but thank you for joining us.
Hello.
All right. So, anyway, let's dive into the discussion. Overall, what did you think were what did you think of the episode?
Um, I like them. Like, you know, just like the movies, everything has a different feel to them, and this is no different than that. It's definitely a different kind of show than we've seen with WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and also just any of the movies, really.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I The thing about these Disney Plus shows that I think is really cool is that they're bringing out these kind of cuckoo concepts that they have in the comics
Right.
and like making them real. I mean, seriously, three space lizards governing a sacred timeline. And it sounds crazy. In the comics, it sounds absolutely normal, but now they're making it more normal by making it part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think that that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really digging these Loki so far. Okay, so what do you think of the Time Variance Authority as a giant bureaucracy?
I'm not super familiar with how they're portrayed in the comics.
It's pretty much the same.
Um, so I mean,
Well, it's kind of more like a police force in the comics, like the timekeeper aspect of it. I like all of the other parts of it, like the guy who said, "What do you call it? State that you are not a robot, that you won't be."
uh,
What do you call it? Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he says. He says, "Well, what if I am a robot? then you'll be melted." And I just thought that it was just so funny. Like, this guy is such a bureaucrat, and he's just like, step forward.
yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I said, I don't know. I have no comparison to anything. I know of them. I just don't know how they have been.
Yeah.
I mean, for something that's supposed to be keep something in line, it fits,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is an air of not mystery, but like sinisterism
Yeah.
to it all. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I also like that one guy that he's like, what is this? It's a tesseract. Don't touch it. He goes, sounds dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like all the little characters that are more of the bureaucrats than the timekeepers themselves.
Right.
Like, they just make me laugh for some reason. And I like the fact that it's like kind of like with in Zootopia, where they go to the DMV and everything is sloth,
Right.
and it's exactly the way you would imagine it. So to me, this would be exactly the way that I would think of a bureau, of something governing a timeline as being bureaucratic in that way.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good. Do you believe that Miss Minutes is the best mascot ever?
I do. Especially in episode 2, when she's no longer just part of that
That video.
video, and
Yeah.
she's like a thing,
Right.
Um, voiced by the talented Tara Strong.
Tara Strong, Pinkie Pie.
No, she's Twilight Sparkle.
Oh, Twilight. Oh, is she?
Yes.
Wait, who's Pinkie Pie then?
I don't know, but I know she's Twilight
Oh.
Sparkle. And
Oh,
Raven and Harley
Yeah.
Quinn sometimes, and pretty sure Batgirl.
Yeah. Well, I got the My Little Pony thing.
The,
um, they have a photo op of her at
what do they?
yeah, California Adventure. So at they have Avengers Campus, and then over where they have Monsters Inc. and all that, the back lot.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got like Mickey and friends dressed as Marvel characters, and then they have the old WandaVision
Oh, okay.
uh, thing, and then they have, I think, Loki and the Captain America wings.
Yeah, yeah. Those I saw.
Uh,
So,
yeah,
right.
so they have a whole bunch of different um, things. So hopefully they'll still continue to have them. I know that they had them because for the people who didn't want to wait 5 hours to get into Avengers Campus.
Right.
Um, so I'm super happy that you can get into Avengers Campus now. Oh, it's Jean Claire. How are you? Okay, good. You can get some insight. And yes, you need to watch Spider Verse for sure.
Yes.
Oh, you're my fan. Oh, thank you. All right. So anyway, um, okay. So do you think that Owen Wilson's Agent Mobius is two steps ahead of Loki, or or is it the other way around? Like, it's very interesting to me.
What do you think?
I think that he's two steps ahead, honestly. Like, I think he was just made that way. And he's just super cool. Uh, I love him.
Love jet
I,
skis.
he loves jet skis. Yes, exactly. But, I love the fact that he just believes in the Time Variance authority.
Yeah.
And he's just, there's nothing, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I like how he reasons everything. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Like, he Loki is part of the Asgardian gods, and part of mythology and all that.
Right.
Yet nobody asks where do they come from. He's not asking where do they come from, and because he just believes that's what they are. So yeah. So I think that he's two steps ahead, personally.
I do too, but not ahead of Loki. I think he's got a bigger plan. Just by
Hmm.
his conversations with Ravana, I think he
Ravana,
knows.
Ravenwood,
I think he knows something more
or
about
Renslayer, or
things.
whatever.
Ravana
Yeah,
Renslayer. Yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
love that name.
like he, like in that conversation in the second episode, like I think he knows there's something up with the timekeepers, and I think this is all part of his own plan
Hmm.
to unravel what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
because I think because it's either that or he's not, or rather it's kind of like a back and forth between him and Loki
Hmm.
until the end of the second episode. So if it's not
Tete.
if it's not Owen Wilson or Mobius being Morbius, Mobius.
Mobius. Yeah.
If he's not, then I think at the end of episode 2, then Loki is 4 steps ahead. Because I think once Loki understands the game,
Yeah.
he is way more like that's when the God of Mischief and his scheming, like once he understands what's going on, he then starts jumping ahead.
Yeah, I love this game of chess that they're playing.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that it's so good, and yeah, we'll get to it in a minute, but yeah, I just think it's so good. How do you think that people can in the TVA can touch the Infinity Stones? I've had this conversation with people before, without disintegrating. Like, anybody else would do it. They use them as paperweights.
Because if you think about the multiverse, it's multi-universes. And
Mm-hmm.
the Infinity Stones were created at the beginning of the universe,
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of a universe. But once they are not in their universe, they don't have their power. Because energy can only be changed, it cannot be destroyed or added. So
Mm-hmm.
once they're taken out, there's nothing there. They're just
Yeah.
paperweights, right? That's why there's so many of them. It like the notion that the Infinity Stones, which for 10 years were like the most powerful things in the MCU, have been
Mm-hmm.
reduced to paperweights in someone's
Paperweights.
drawer
Yeah.
next to like a baseball card, or like I don't know, like knickknacks. Um,
Yeah.
tells you that we're in a different ball game,
Mm-hmm.
and that you know Thanos was only only that powerful in his universe, and with the multiverse, the rules have changed and the stakes are even higher,
Yeah.
right? And we can get this in a little bit later, but like I think we saw the beginning of what the next climactic event is of this next phase of the
Next
MCU.
phase. Right.
Yeah,
Jean Claire is asking, why are there so many Infinity Stones?
me or you want to take a?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's what Rich was saying is that at when there was a multiverse, there were different Infinity Stones around, and so the Time Variance Authority, I think, when they collapsed the multiverse into one sacred timeline, just collected them, and they're just baubles in that guy's desk, and that's why there are so many of them. I think, unless you have another
No,
opinion.
it's similar. Like it's because there's multiple universes, and the
Mm-hmm.
Infinity Stones are tied to their universe, right?
Yeah.
And this is where it gets kind of crazy, is that
Mm-hmm.
there are multiple timelines, but there are also multiple universes that's created from these timelines. Um,
Right.
so like, you know, true, like in Infinity War and Endgame, they took the stones out of the time, but that's still, I believe, within the actual timeline. Like all those things are supposed to happen, right? That's what they kind of explain. When Loki is like, I'm innocent because it was the Avengers that changed time, and then
Yeah.
Renslayer is like, no, the Avengers were supposed to do that. So that whole
Yeah.
that whole thing where the Infinity Stones were taken out of their time to somewhere else was part of still the sacred timeline. So it still fits in that universe. If that makes sense, any sense? It's a little.
Yeah.
It can be, if you think, it's almost like any kind of time travel kind of show. If you think too hard about it, nothing makes sense. There's always some kind of weird loophole. But basically, like everything that happened in the movies happened as it was supposed to. The one thing that broke it was Loki taking the Tesseract and escaping.
Surviving.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what caused the Nexus event of Loki. Um,
Right.
but since the Captain America brought the stones back, it fixed that timeline. So those Infinity Stones had that power.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely. Yeah, I agree with you.
but like the Infinity Stones that they're in that dust could have been from any number of different events that happened in different universes.
Right.
right? Maybe it wasn't the Avengers that got him. Maybe it wasn't Thanos that got it. And in those universes, could have been anything. Like, there's so many different Easter eggs and things that are like so hidden in these two episodes that it could be a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, there was a Skrull that could have been the same Skrull from Captain Marvel, like a
Right.
background Skrull, but like maybe in his he caused a Nexus event by maybe he stole the Tesseract at some point.
Yeah.
Um, there's there's what could be Peggy Carter, which could point to the fact that when Steve Rogers went back in time to return the things and him staying caused a Nexus event, right?
Yeah.
So the Infinity Stones come from basically multi universes from different, who knows what reasons. It could have been anything. Any little variance in those timelines could have brought the Infinity Stones to that dude.
To the yeah. All right. What do you actually? I just thought that it was really interesting. And maybe I'm going to move this question a little bit later because this is kind of more of an overall thing. So let's go on to what do you think is the judge's deal? Do you think that she's a friend or a foe, or do we think, like why did she grab the sword at the end? I'm just curious. Like I want to love her because I just think that she's so good. I mean, like
This plays into the long game. Like her character is super tied to Kang the Conqueror.
Oh yes,
She is the love of
yeah,
Kang the Conqueror. So like her, like there's a lot of symbolism in things, right? That's why I think I think Owen Wilson knows something's up, because when
mm-hmm.
he's in her office and she gives him that pen to sign something, like he comments like, "Oh, this must be from your other favorite agent."
Endless,
Or whatever, right?
yeah, the endless on the side.
And he kind of slips in like something's about the timekeepers, and she's like, they're fine, but he's like, I've never
Mm-hmm.
met them. And I think the part where I think he is actually the one who's ahead of everybody is that he planted the notion of the timekeepers in Loki's mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he's like, I feel like he's trying to get like what's up with the timekeepers, There's a lot of questions about faith in this show,
Yeah,
and he says he believes and all that, but does he? I think again he's probably playing on the fact that he knows Loki doesn't believe in it,
right.
but if he can convince him that that he can fix something, or he can return to whatever he needs to return to no longer be a variance or be off the TVA's reset list, he'll do it,
Yeah,
because he knows the one thing Loki will do is preserve himself first,
yeah.
right?
He is for himself.
Yeah, but like like there's a lot of speculation that one of the timekeepers is Kang the Conqueror, because it kind of does look like one of them does kind of look like him,
It does. Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Like when you see the judge, or like Renslayer in her office, the one timekeeper that's kind of above her is that one that looks like Kang the Conqueror,
Right.
right? So I think this is all like I think this is all going to lead to Avengers Secret Wars,
Mm-hmm.
right? The 2000 Secret Wars with the just as Miss Minute says, like it led to a multiverse
Multiversal.
war, and I think that's
Yeah.
what's going to happen. I think we're at the beginning. I think in this episode 2, the multiverses were born again,
Mm-hmm.
and at some point it's going to culminate in a version of the Secret Wars,
Yeah, the Secret Wars. That's what I was just thinking.
right? And maybe that's how we see Robert Downey Jr. again, or we see Chris Evans again in as Tony Stark or
That's
as
something.
Captain America or something.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think I don't think it's a coincidence that What If follows this show in later this summer,
That's what I was just thinking to myself as well. I was just thinking that.
right?
I said, I go, God, this has all got to be connected. Because if there is not a multiverse now, where are all these other things coming from? Like, what if it's not going to make any sense
Yeah,
until this series?
yeah. Especially if it's touted as the replacement, like the next Marvel series. Like if it was
Mm-hmm.
just like these one-off stories and animation form, you can play that anytime because it's not part of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are part of the MCU, and they're telling actual stories from the multiverse. So, the multiverse where Peggy Carter becomes Captain Britain or whatever, Captain
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know
I
what
think it's
what they
Captain
call
Britain.
her, right? Or that
Yeah.
T'Challa becomes Star Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that that's gonna play an actual part in the MCU. Like these aren't just it'd be cool if we told some stories about what could have happened. I think it's
Yes.
stories
This
really
is,
going to be. This is the stories from the multiverse. I think that's what it's going to turn out to be.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these stories
Yeah,
elsewhere,
yeah,
like in a secret war. If you,
right. I
you
mean,
know, as you.
you know, we know at least one confirmed return to the Spider-Man universe from another series, and that's Alfred Molina, right? So
Mm-hmm.
his Doc Ock is going to be in the Tom Holland MCU version
Oh
of
God,
Spider-Man,
so excited!
right? And all these other kind of rumors that we're going to see that even though the actors deny it, of course they're going to deny it. It's Marvel. They're not going to
Yeah,
be like, "Yep, I'm totally in Spider-Man."
yeah,
So I
definitely a Jean Leclerc watch Spider Verse, like to
yeah,
get a concept of what the multiverse is, because
yes,
it's gonna blow up soon.
yes. That's like take like watch that movie and take that by like 100. Like it's gonna be crazy. We can
It's gonna be
see different
crazy.
versions of Captain America, of Spider Man, of Iron Man.
Captain
I
Marvel.
mean, like just bring in the versions that we've seen before. Like I do think at least one of the other Spider Men are gonna be in in this like movies soon,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
I think, um, you know, I think Wanda, Doctor Strange, and I do now think Loki play a big part of how they're gonna handle this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How is it that you think Loki's other variants can look so different and have different powers? I know that he was talking about something about illusionary powers as opposed to some other powers. I could not
Follow it.
grasp it. Yeah.
He was
What
talking
was it?
about the difference between illusion when he casts an illusion versus when he there's two versions of him or multiple versions of him somewhere. The illusion is exactly that. It's an illusion. The other one is like this manifestation of himself.
Okay.
That's what he's basically getting at. That's why he was like, it's not the same thing because they kept
Right.
saying, it's an illusion versus. I can't remember the term they called it, but he explained basically, yeah, illusion is like a trick of the mind, where the other one's an actual manifestation of of himself
Okay.
in a way.
Yes.
But I think, um, variants don't necessarily mean they'll look the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is why we get Randy Loki, Lady Loki, whatever you want to call him, her. That's why we get like that trolley looking
Right.
one, and some other ones.
Yeah.
I think the variant comes in how he was made, or the fact that he's a shapeshifter. You know.
Right. Yeah, he can project for sure.
Yeah.
um,
What do you think?
I you know I think it has something to do with what we're talking about. Which I totally it went whoop over my head, but Jean Claire's got it down, so
There you go.
he's like you can project, and I just find it fascinating and cool that they have all these concepts going on, similar to what Luke was about to do, able to do in Rise of Skywalker, with the power of Prue,
Oh, the part that Prue had.
or the power Prue had in Charmed.
Yes, it's kind of like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love a good Charmed reference. I love that.
Oh man, you do not know the power of three live on
Power of three.
in my family,
Yes.
but not in the same way.
We've got the circle of three amongst our sisters and cousins.
Whose only job is to torture and
Torture us.
make our lives chaotic,
Yes.
but only like together.
Right.
Well, sometimes individually, but together, they're a force to be reckoned with. Much
Right.
to my and Loren's chagrin.
Yes, exactly. What do you think is a variant Loki's endgame? Like, why does she want to create? Like, why does she want to blow up the sacred timeline?
I mean, at the heart, she's a Loki, right? And one thing you can know about Loki is, preservation. Like do whatever it takes. Like maybe, somehow she was able to escape the TVA, and she's a variant, right? And the fact that she's a god of mischief and she has these kind of powers could mean that she's just there to make sure that she survives, and how to do that is get rid of the people that want to erase her from existence,
Yeah.
right? Or it could be a totally different thing altogether, and she's not technically a Loki. There's a thing that I saw, like people pointed out, the Spanish credits don't list her as the variant. She has a name, like Sophie or something. Sophie, which some people have tied to the Enchantress, a name of the Enchantress. Because
that would be interesting.
the one thing that's weird about her, like every time you see Loki use any kind of power, it's mostly illusion and all that kind of stuff. So he doesn't really like, manifest a color associated with his power.
Yeah.
Right? If anything, it's more like a gold than a green. But when Lady Loki does her mind power thingy, or like the possession thing, which is something we've never seen Loki actually do, like like MCU Loki, like when that Loki does it, there's clearly a green hue, right? I mean, if you look at WandaVision, Wanda definitely has a scarlet hue to her thing. Agatha has a purple hue to her powers.
Right.
And then there's a line that Loki says when they confront each other, and he's like, "Enchantments, that's cute."
Yeah.
right? So, and the name Sophie again, as like I said, is tied to the Enchantress. So maybe she is actually Enchantress, and there's some other thing afoot with her. But I'm not quite sure yet what it is. Like,
Right.
um,
I would love it to be the Enchantress, and she could definitely fit that role.
yeah,
So we'll
right.
see.
Um,
Although I do also like her as Lady Loki. I heard that we're going to be seeing child Loki and older Loki.
yeah,
So,
I guess the rumor is that Richard Grant is playing older Loki,
which would be perfect.
right?
Yes.
Which would make Richard Grant again closer to being a Disney EGOT.
Kidney gut. Yes.
It's got to
Exactly.
put him in a Disney something.
Yeah, they need to put him in a animated animated movie of some sort. Okay. After after these two episodes, do you think that Loki is just a mischievous scamp, genuinely trying to help the TVA, or is he the god of evil who is trying to help his variant self?
No, I think I think this is part of that whole. I as WandaVision was about grief, and Falcon and Winter Soldier is kind of about um, like truth.
Flirting, yeah, like who?
This is about free will, and
Mm-hmm.
the message that everything is written in stone. Loki was meant to do all these things, and we've seen him in his journey in the MCU. Go from evil villain to anti-hero ish in like Thor 2
Mm-hmm.
and Ragnarok, and then
Ragnarok,
to
yes.
Infinity War when he redeems himself as a hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is kind of like the re-emergence of that journey because he's plucked from the first Avengers, so he's still like evil Loki, but
Yeah.
him like he's almost like he saw his life flash before his eyes, literally, in
Mm-hmm.
the series, right? And that whole thing of him watching, what happened to his mother, and then his own demise, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think, like when he breaks down when Mobius is kind of like, "Why do you do what you do?" And he's like, "I don't enjoy killing. I do it because I need to, or it's something he needs to do."
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't seem like he doesn't enjoy it, and he says that he doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like Thor kind of says, you know, I think of the world of you, but at the end of the day, I'm me and you're you,
Good guy. Yeah, you and
right? But I think Loki's trying to fight against that, and I think this journey is he is not written in stone. Like he is able to forge his own path,
right.
right? And he has good in him, and I think that's
Yeah.
what most people are. It's like no one's totally super good. No one's totally super evil. Like even Thanos isn't super evil. His
Yeah.
intentions are ultimately good. It's just misguided in what he thinks needs to
Wants.
happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think that Loki is going to what do you call that? Loki is. Oh my god! I totally my thought just went whoop. Um, I think that Loki is going to um, redeem himself at the end. Like I think that he it's going to be that kind of DB Cooper thing that they had, where I mean, in that he was, obviously escaping with a lot of money, but I'm just saying, like at the end, he's going to do something scampish and disappear, but not before he helps fix whatever needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Although I don't know how successful they're going to be. Who is Loki's mother? Her name was Frigga.
Yeah.
And she was what's the name of the actress that played her?
Oh my God.
Great actress.
Rene Russo.
Rene Russo, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Played by the wonderful Rene Russo, and he gets to see what he did with his mom, in Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
That resulted in.
And Mobius drives home that it's his fault, like totally drives that home, like replays the exact moment he killed her by telling that one dude where to find supposedly Thor, but it's not who they run into. They actually run into Frigga.
Yeah.
This is why like Loki, Thanos, Zemo. This is why they're great villains, is because deep's rooted into them is they are doing things. Well, especially like Zemo and Thanos, they're actually, if you really think about it, their intentions are actually kind of good, right? As opposed to like the megalomaniac villains of like the dude from Ant-Man. I can't remember his name. The ones who are forgettable, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. Like even like Obadiah from Iron Man. And, like I think he's only really memorable because what's his face plays him well. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
How am I? Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. Yeah.
The dude played him so well, but like in the grand scheme of things, there was no real. Like, it didn't make sense for those guys to be like who they like. What do they actually expect to get away with? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
I think that they were trying to. It was early on, and I think that they started realizing we need to create these villains that have, I think this is the reason why they were able to succeed so much, is that they created villains that we could relate to.
Yeah.
And it all started really with Loki.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they've gotten way better with their villains. So even like Agatha, to a point, there's part of it where you're like, you understand where she's coming from with her past.
Yes.
And I still feel she still has also a bigger role to play in the MCU.
I hope so too.
I think she understands what a Nexus entity is, like who Scarlet Witch is.
Right. Yes, they did. Yeah, that's right. She's a Nexus. What did they call her? A Nexus Witch or a
Nexus
something?
Being? I don't know.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, like all those hints about the Nexus in WandaVision, and then we learn here that the Nexus is the point where the timeline veers off, and then if it gets too far, they can't undo it, right? And Nexus beings are. I don't think they
can create their own universes.
They can exist in multiple universes. I think that's what it is. Like, they're the same in every universe, and that's why I think Scarlet Witch herself is going to play a big part. And I think Loki's going to find out that out, and
Yeah.
I think he's going to go back to Stephen Strange.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the three of them, like I
It's
remember in WandaVision, I thought there's going to be a power of, to go back also to Charmed, the power of three,
right. The Power Three.
right? And I think it might be that it's Scarlet Witch, Stephen Strange, and Loki.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Oh, I'm like so into the whole thing. Like it just, the more I think about it and how connected everything seems like it's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. It's amazing. And Marvel is going to give us another 10 years of good stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, what did you think of the art direction? Uh, did it remind you of anything?
There's a lot of similarities to Brazil. The
Yeah.
Terran Gilliam, Terry Gilliam,
Terry Gilliam.
he did
Yeah.
that one, right.
Yeah.
Um, which is satirical kind of look at bureaucracy, right?
Yeah.
Especially like just the look of the TVA and the inner, like the building that they're in.
Hmm.
But then and then there's a lot of it that looks very much Ragnaroky,
Yeah. Kind
right?
of
Uh, like
like when they look out the window,
yeah,
it almost looks like something Jack Kirby could have designed.
yes, that too. Like it's very Kirby, also,
Very Kirby.
which is great. Like
Yes.
between that and what they did in Doctor Strange,
Mm-hmm.
like they've managed to bring the way he drew the world
Mm-hmm.
to the big screen. And I think as much as Stan Lee's cameos meant a lot to the Marvel universe, I think bringing in like undeniably very Kirby-esque design
Yeah.
is a fitting tribute, you know.
Too.
And I hope they keep going with these kind of things, like pay
I hope
homage
so too.
to the creators of the Marvel universe,
Yeah. I definitely agree.
especially those
You
two.
know, another thing that it kind of reminded me of is Legion. Remember that show?
Oh my
Legion. I
god,
don't know if you had a chance to see it.
that's
It's
the
the
one
one
about,
that was a Marvel show that
right. I never saw it, honestly.
it was really good.
That's what I
It
heard.
was,
That's what I heard. I never got to see it though.
but you had to. I mean, like it. I mean, talk about a cuckoo concept. That was like
Like,
way
was it
out there.
actually Legion? So Professor Xavier's son?
Hmm.
Oh man,
They don't necessarily say his name. I don't
right.
think, but there's definitely implication. But yeah, this is kind of like retro look,
Yeah,
uh, and like a little bit of bureaucracy. I thought that was really kind of a cool
yeah,
look. I really like the art direction of this show.
yeah. It's like funny how they combine this like fantastical world with like kind of retro-y looking, like the almost the retro look at outer space worlds.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, like the opposite of what Star Wars did, where Star Wars made like space grimy and dirty and lived in and whatever.
Yeah.
Like Marvel paints a lot of their like extraterrestrial worlds and other dimensional places like in the more fantastical
Yeah,
realm.
fantastical,
Yeah.
comfortable.
But yet they are able to throw in like a break room, like the mundane of like these kind of things, like someone's like office, or
Yes,
the office where but a bunch of cubicles and whatever.
right.
Um, but
This is very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I love that dude who's like, "What's a fish?"
Yeah,
It's like,
I know. It's like, what's
what
a
do you say?
fish?
I'm gonna gut you like a
I'm
fish.
gonna
He's
gut
like,
you like a fish.
"What's a fish?"
What's a fish? I
Whoever
don't
that guy
get
is,
out. Who is
I've
that?
seen him before, but I can't
He's
place it.
Filipino, right?
He looks like it,
Yeah,
and I
he
know I've
definitely
seen
looks.
him, but I'm like, where have I seen him?
Yeah, he was hilarious. I hope to see more of him.
Oh, I think that we've got to. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, he was hilarious. He was kind of like a steam stealer to me.
yes.
And he's like, "You almost hit me," and she like doesn't say anything. I don't forgive you. It's just like his delivery is so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about the music? What the music was done by Natalie Holt, who I've never heard of
No.
before,
There's
but
a
I
lot
definitely
of
want to hear more of.
yeah. I mean, like it doesn't. It's like it part of it reminds me of Ragnarok,
Yes.
right? So I was wondering if it was the same person, but it's not, right?
No.
Um, at the same time, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like it's I don't know if this is a word, but ambiance.
Yeah, it is. It's very ambiance, and they use a lot of like unique instruments.
Yes, I like it.
Well,
It's very
yeah.
unique, um, in a way that like um, who's the guy who does the Mandalorian?
Ludwig
Ludwig.
Göransson.
Yeah, like how he uses really unique instruments, but his is definitely more orchestra, like like bombastic, kind of like it's in your
Right.
face and you notice it. This is more subtle, but when
Yeah.
you do get it, it's very, like I said, like it's very much part of the ambiance of the scene. Uh,
Very sci-fi
yeah,
sounding sometimes, like when they were in Ravona's office, and it was like that. What do you call that thing? That it's
um,
like not a
the
vibe.
it's the Star Trek one. It's the
Yeah,
because the one that Sheldon plays in Big Bang Theory. It
right.
has a weird
I
name.
don't, I don't know what it's called.
Oh my god. I'd look it up.
Right. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that after listening to the music again, I was like, oh, right,
It's a
I need to find
theremin.
out who.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's got
yeah.
a very science fiction sound.
Yeah. That's why it like it like yeah, in a way it kind of it's very science fictiony, but like that old classic science fictiony.
Yes.
Kind of go back to like pre Star Wars, where everything they like start like they're like Lucas made everything look lived in and whatnot. So you get that like Battlestar Galactica, very like dirty, dingy, grimy worlds, whereas
Mm-hmm.
the world of like Star Trek, for example, Flash Gordon, those kind of
Yeah.
things, like are very not sterile, but like everything looked new, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they do like they have a good balance between that and like the mundane. Like I said, like these fantastical like sci-fi looking buildings and environments, and then you get the office break room, the small library.
Right.
The very like it really reminded me of the library from Ghostbusters for some weird reason, especially when
Yeah. It does.
right. So I the art design I think is fantastic. The music's fantastic, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's again it's Marvel. just knowing how to do what they do,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. All right. Well, what did you think of Tom Hiddleston's performance?
Horrible. Just kidding.
Yeah, he's so
He's such a bad
horrible.
actor. Like,
I Oh, go ahead.
I can't imagine anyone able to pull off Loki.
Hmm.
You know, he has like embraced that character so much so that like it's funny because like when you see him in like interviews, I don't see Loki. I see Tom
Yeah.
Hiddleston. But when he's Loki,
Right.
he's Loki,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how else to explain that. Like he's the embodiment of Loki. Like when he has the that costume, that hair, uh, he is adopted like the persona of Loki. Like is just Loki when he's there. But when
Hmm.
he's not, he's Tom Hiddleston. And it's a totally different thing,
Definitely.
right? Um,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I loved him, and you know the when at the end, like he's the thing is that like he's got all this armor on, like Loki, and to pull it off where you're badass god of evil and mischief and
Right.
all that, and then to kind of be pulled apart at the end of episode 1 where he's like, I don't enjoy killing people, and um like he genuinely was upset that his actions ended up with his mother dying,
Yeah.
because he had a very special relationship with her.
Yeah.
And it's just there are not a lot of actors, I think, that really pull together that empathy. Again, going back to characters, that villains that we can relate to, and have him be that big with all the bravado, and then be reduced to, I get you, I get who you are. I think it's a really real testament to a actor's performance.
Yeah. Um, like he. It's not even just like the scenes where he is watching. His moment, the moment he betrays his mother to his
Hmm.
mother's death, but also like the scenes where with Odin, right?
Yes.
And his realization that like when Odin pretty much says, like he loves both of his sons, right?
Hmm.
And then seeing his end that brought Hela,
Yeah.
right? And then like the scene like in episode 2 where he comes across the file for Asgard, right? And
Hmm.
he's looking at the number, the death toll, and whatnot. Like he's got to feel a twinge of responsibility a little bit in
Yeah.
there too, because he is the one who took his father away from Asgard and put him on Earth,
Yep.
right? So he at the heart of him he is just someone who wants to be accepted, because his early story is that he was like even if his father, um his frost giant father, like was able to keep him or whatever, like who's still would have been an outcast, right?
Yep.
Because he would have been like the dwarf giant or whatever.
Yeah, he would have.
But instead, true, he was lied to as a child, like as being an Asgardian, but he was loved by
by
his
Odin.
family, like Odin,
Yeah.
Thor, Frigga.
Frigga for sure.
Yeah, he might have. He was friends with the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif. They might have like
Yeah.
you know ribbed on him, but he's the one you do. Like you have Thor and you have Loki, right?
Yes.
Um, and I think that realization is what he knows at the end there when he's watching that film that he had it. Like he just didn't see it. Right? He had a
Mm-hmm.
family. He had a place where he belonged, and his life is better, most likely, having been brought up by Odin and Thor and Frigga. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just think that he runs the full gamut of emotions and stuff in these in these first two episodes. But
Yeah.
then you get to see him as the god of mischief. Like his his explanation of how the variant Loki can hide, and his
Mm-hmm.
explanation using the salad and the like soft drink, whatever he was using, and this
Yes.
look on his face of just like the joy that gets in explaining it because he knows he's right.
Yeah.
And then when he's
That
in
was a good scene.
Pompeii and
Yeah.
Owen Wilson's just like, we gotta be careful. He's like, no, we don't.
All these people are going to die.
Yeah, and you see like the story. Like when like Thor's telling stories about when they were kids. That's how you imagine him to be as a kid,
Yeah.
right? So it's nice to see a little bit more of that version of Loki,
Right.
too.
It's always nice to see that.
Yeah.
that version of it. What did you think of Owen Wilson?
I always like Owen Wilson. Like, I mean, like he's kind of like to me Nick Cage,
Mm-hmm.
where Nick Cage kind of plays Nick Cage in everything.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's a Nexus actor. He exists as Owen Wilson in everything he does, but it's not
Right.
Owen Wilson.
Right.
Like there's differences in things, but it's still Owen Wilson. But I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Whereas we talked about Ned Beatty on yesterday's podcast, where who just melts into whatever role he's in as a character actor.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson is Owen Wilson. There's no denying it. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like also like Woody Harrelson. Like it's Woody Harrelson, right?
Yes.
They don't really melt into their characters, but they change it enough where like it's Owen Wilson, but it's not Owen Wilson. It is Mobius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I love their chemistry together.
Yeah, I love them together, and just that game of chess that they're playing
Yes.
together, and yet they want to work together. Like Loki almost wants his approval,
Yeah.
which I think is very funny. Um, but yeah, Owen Wilson, I forget that he was liking McQueen.
Yeah.
Ka-chow.
So he's another one. All he needs to do is be in Star Wars.
Yeah, just get him a Star Wars, and then he's going to be the next Disney EGOT.
Yeah. But like, my favorite scene of his is when in the second episode he's like, look, you have two choices. Either I am your friend and I'm trying to help you, or I'm just using you and something. Take your pick.
Yeah.
And like just that alone, you're like, which is it?
Yeah.
It can be either
We
one of
don't
those two.
know.
We don't know. You know.
Yeah.
Like the scene you described when Loki is coming through the metal detector thing, and
Yeah.
he's like, like, do you hereby say that you are definitely not a robot, blah 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 blah, and has as what some societies call a soul, and he's about to step through, and he's like, wait, what if I am a robot?
I know.
Like as funny as thing as it is, it's like at the heart of also what this is about. Like
Yeah.
it's like finding yourself with and not not conforming, but like you're not who people like. Someone says this is what you are, and that's what you are.
Right.
It's questioning, is that a predetermined thing or if it's actually free will,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you question who you are, and at
Right.
that point, he questioned. Like, it's funny, it's whatever. But then, like, there's a moment where he's like, "What if I am a robot?" He questions. He's still questioning who he was, and I think by
Yeah.
the end, like, what's going to happen is like he knows who he is. He's chosen who he is, and it defies what the TVA has been telling him, and what most people probably tell him, or even tells himself. When he says, "I don't enjoy killing, but I have to do it."
Right.
Maybe he doesn't have to do it. He just keeps telling himself he has to, and that's not like he has a choice. It's not. It's not predetermined. It's not what defines him.
Right.
He can choose to do what he needs to do.
Right. All right. Well, we've come to the end. Does anybody in the audience have any questions that they want to ask before we sign off here? Let us know with a yes or a no.
Just
Give
give
it
him
a
a second.
moment.
Um,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, did you catch, like, did you have any, what I like is that they don't, he never flinches when they say his full name,
Uh, yeah, Loki Lofton.
Lafayette. And it took me a
Yeah.
second to, like, who?
Right. Because we're used to him
Odin's
being
son.
Odin's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, his technically Lofton's
Lafayette.
son.
Yeah. I thought that was
Right.
a nice touch.
I love
Yeah.
I love the judge. I love Ravana. I don't know why. I know that I've seen Gugu
Somewhere
Labatha
before.
Raw.
Right.
Yeah, I know I've seen I know I've seen her in something else, but I cannot remember what it is. But I definitely want to see more things with her in it because she just has that character down. And now remembering that she has a connection to Kang the Conqueror, I just think that it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Like, where was she from?
I know. I can't remember.
Well, she's in the morning show, but I've never seen that.
Oh, yes.
She's Miss Murray in A
Okay.
Wrinkle in Time.
Okay. Okay.
She is Plumette in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Now these are. Look at this. And all.
So there's another one who's like in a bunch of
Yeah,
Disney
she
things.
could be in Nikon. All she has to do is be in the Star Wars thing. Make it so.
Trying to see what else. Oh, she was on Doctor Who. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
She's like a chameleon.
That's where I know her from. She was in Doctor Who.
She's a chameleon.
Yeah.
So, anyway. All right. Well, people don't have any questions. So, we'll just go ahead and sign off. Be sure to like this post if you can. Just smash that like. Leave a comment below. And share our posts with your family and friends, as we really love to spread our channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. You can always reach us at podcast@castlecationpros.com. Leave your feedback, good and bad. You can reach me on Twitter @LowJav and on Instagram @Loren. How about you, Rich?
You can reach me at R2Ramosanta on both Twitter and Instagram.
All right. Well, the opinions expressed on today's vlogcast are solely our own and do not represent the Walt Disney Company, its subsidiaries, or assets. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you later. Bye.
Yep. Catch you on the flip side.